I don't want to be viewed as more popular, I want to be viewed as more skillful. That was a quote I heard from Nicki Minaj in this Crown interview that, I'm not gonna lie, I spin a lot, but I never considered to kind of study it from an artist development perspective. She did this interview a few years ago when she was rolling out her Queen album, so today I want to share 3 creative maturity secrets that I've learned from this video, from having watched it so many times, and from this time having sat down and taken some notes. Now, you might feel like you're not ready for artist development, but it applies to all aspects of life. It's basically just personal development, but for creatives. It's from the perspective of an artist. And I think it's really interesting to have these kinds of things explained to you from the perspective of someone like Nicki Minaj, because her level of self-awareness is shocking if you're not used to hearing her speak. She's far less vapid than you would expect, and it's basically non-existent compared to most of her contemporaries, especially like at the pop star level. And when you take into consideration that she's perpetually maintaining character, that's really impressive. And with as much as she's accomplished, you'd think she would have no relatable experiences. But I mean, she doesn't have that massive fan base for nothing, me included. I mean, at every time I watch this interview, there's this one part where I just really connect with it. She talks about how she falls head first in love and ends up with a tragic heartbreak. And the thing that's really dope about it is she actually flips it into a lesson where she teaches the audience and her fans and anyone who's listening to the interview that you really want to live life and create and do your work from a point of security that comes from within yourself, instead of anchoring yourself to things that are external. She uses personal development buzzwords that you might be comfortable with, like strength and confidence, as a way to talk about how you want to anchor yourself internally so that when life lifes, you don't just get carried out to sea. I've actually read a lot of books about this topic, but the 2 that I've found to be the most helpful are The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle and then The 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. Really, really good stuff. And it's funny because what Nicki had to say about this in a few sentences pretty much perfectly summed up everything I've ever learned from personal development books or self-help information.
I'm a walking contradiction when it comes to love. Like, it takes such a long time to break me down again, because I feel like, especially with that particular one I'm talking about, I feel like I went in head first and I never looked back. And so I was really, really hurt behind that. And then the other thing is, people expect you to be able to just get up and write an album or, record, and it's like, well, I had nothing to say, I had nothing to give. I was so broken as a human being, and I didn't know who I was anymore. I was lost, like, spiritually. I had to spiritually find myself again. Emotionally, I had to connect again. I think that sometimes when we're in relationships, we make that person God, and that person is not God, okay? You have to learn that you will be just fine without them. And when you have that confidence and that strength and that security, you bring so much more to the table, And whenever a person wants you to be clingy or insecure, something ain't right. That means they want you at your lowest self. Right. They know that's a way to manipulate you. They know that's a way to, just keep you where you at.
Now, I want to make sure you don't miss the point. To be clear, you will not get anywhere if you're insecure, but fixing insecurity is only the first step. Trust me, there's tons of emotionally and mentally secure artists who still aren't making progress. So anyone telling you that it's as simple as getting some mental clarity and building some skills, you need to hit that person with the good old Ross Geller, get a load of this guy, because they are feeding you a pile of bullshit. Period. Your skills and mental fortitude have to go hand in hand with a very firm understanding of the cult of capitalism. Now, you don't have to love it, and to be honest, you don't even really have to respect it, but you do have to acknowledge its existence, because it's paramount for you to develop the ability to see things through the lens of capital and profit, because it's a very real cult that most of the world kind of exists within. And if you don't understand how it works, you're kind of SOL with a lot of fundamental things in life. But I'll just let the queen drive the point home, because I think she's a little bit more articulate than I am.
And one singer told me this label recently dropped her, and it really hurt me. And I was just like, I listened to this girl's record, and she's super talented. And I listen to other people they have on their label, and I'm just like, yikes. it's really all a popularity contest. Labels do not care about talent anymore. It's about your popularity. So the music industry has changed drastically because of that. So when I was growing up, I would put on the radio and hear talented people. When you guys put on the radio now, you hear popular people, right? And that's the difference. So you gotta hold on and treasure the ones that are still here, not because of popularity alone. And I'll be silly to say that I'm not here because of, popularity partially, right? Because my fans are such a powerful force. Like, they'll get something trending. I got Queen Radio now, and like, we had, oh my God, that's so dope. But at the same time, I never have ever relied on that.
Now, this doesn't mean that skill doesn't have a place in the mix. And I think she goes out of her way to say she never depends on popularity because she understands that it's an ebb and a flow that comes with sometimes vast differences between the peaks and valleys. So she kind of leans to this implicitly, and I think if we asked her, she'd pretty much agree outright that you need to value skill over popularity at the end of the day, especially in this day and age. Popularity is quick, but if you don't got nothing that's gonna make people stick, then that's a bad situation to be in. And to be real, the best way to do it is to gain notoriety and to build your popularity by being skilled at the thing that you're doing. Again, listen to how Nicki Minaj, one of the most accomplished pop stars in history, talks about how much she likes being skilled at the craft.
I don't want to be viewed as more popular. I want to be viewed as skillful.
Yeah.
I don't know why people get me misconstrued. I don't care about all that other stuff. Skill. Yeah. The word of the day is skill. Thank you, baby. I want people, let me tell you what made me so happy was that people listened to this album and said it's her best album lyrically. And that's the best compliment a person could ask for. I spent all this time working so hard. And like, that means something to me. I'm not gonna lie and say it doesn't matter. It matters. That's what we do this shit for. You know what I'm saying? So I'm talking about all of the greats, all of the people I look up to told me that I impressed them with this album. Do you know how good that feels?
It's funny because I think that's the path you're on now too, is that you want that uncertified greatness. Like, you talk to Jay, you work with M, you still are under the tutelage of Wayne. It's like, it's important for you to like be part of that bigger entity, like that you're recognized amongst those greats when it's all said and done.
Listen, Pink Friday, Eminem, Kanye West, and prior to Pink Friday, I was already on a record with Jay and Kanye. So you tell me, what new artist gets co-signed by Jay, Kanye, Eminem, and Wayne? What would be the equivalent to that now? To me, it's still the same. They still the ones you gotta see, right? You still gotta check in. My thing is, no, that's never happened before or since. Has it?
Nicki talks about how grounding herself emotionally and honing her craft helped her make the best body of work she had created up until that time. And artists are always giving away sauce like this in their interviews. You just gotta know how to understand their language if you wanna pick up what they're putting down. So if you want 3 tips from Tyler the Creator on fixing creative immaturity, check out the video appearing on your screen now.